So listen, I think it's time that I finally upgrade my phone. I've been rocking the iPhone XR for the last 3+ years. I bought it back in 2018 and it's been great. It's been reliable, it's remained fast, and I haven't really felt the urge to upgrade when the iPhone 11 and 12 came along. Now the iPhone 13 came out back in late September. I didn't jump on it right away because as much as I love technology, I also like to budget. We decided to buy my partner a phone first. She got the iPhone 13 mini right away. And I actually did a quick impressions video about that. You can check that out in the description below. But the TLDR is that it's great and she loves it. Later, I picked up the Pixel 6, which is the first Android phone that I ever purchased. It was a great experience, and I have to say the Pixel 6 is a great phone. I look forward to trying out more Android phones and Pixels in particular, but at the moment I'm still pretty committed to the Apple ecosystem, so I'll be rocking an iPhone full time. So with that said, I actually found someone locally that was looking to trade their iPhone 13 for a Pixel 6 straight across. The deal was certainly more than fair since the iPhone 13 costs quite a bit more. And now we're here. I've got a blue iPhone 13 with 128 gigabytes of storage. I immediately went ahead and I ordered a case from Amazon. With next day shipping, it's so convenient to pick up a case. I always order cases from Spigen, not sure the name. I've been overall really impressed with their cases though. I have their matte black case on my iPhone XR, and I ordered a similar case for the Pixel. For the iPhone 13, since it's in this bright blue color, I decided to order a clear case this time around. It's a great case with the right amount of grip and a solid level of protection without being too bulky. Anyways, I'll put a link down in the description, but you can't go wrong with cases from Spigen. There's a certain type of person who's gonna go and upgrade their phone every year. Some people do it every 2 years, but I think it's worth looking at the 3-year upgrade cycle more closely. Do we really need a new phone every year? Is there such a large difference from year to year to make it worth it? What's the sweet spot in terms of getting a huge upgrade that feels like a big change? Let's jump in. So let's start with comparing these two phones. First, we have the iPhone XR. It was released on October 26, 2018, and it was released alongside the iPhone XS and XS Max. The iPhone XR was sort of considered the budget phone of the three, if there is such a thing from Apple. The main differences were the display quality and the fact that the XS had a telephoto lens. Then we have the iPhone 13, which came out on September 24th, 2021, 3 years and a month after the XR. Let's look at these phones head to head. Let's start with the display. Looking at these two side by side, there's a couple of things I noticed right away. The first is about the size of the phones. The iPhone 13 is slightly smaller overall than the iPhone XR. That's because the casing and the bezels are a bit smaller. I also noticed that the iPhone 13 display seems a bit warmer than the XR. The gray background that I have seems more gray on the XR. When I look at photos, I can definitely see the advantage of the OLED on the iPhone 13. The pixel density is a lot better and I can easily see more detail in my photos. And the photos I'm looking at here were actually taken on the Pixel, which goes to show it's not just the quality of the camera that matters, but also the quality of the display on which you're viewing your photos. The iPhone 13 doesn't have ProMotion like the 13 Pro, which means I shouldn't really notice a difference between these phones in terms of overall smoothness of the animations. When looking at the two phones side by side, I can't really tell the difference in brightness, though the iPhone 13 gets brighter overall. It's going to make more of a difference outside in the daylight when the sun is glaring and you're squinting to get a look at your screen. One other thing about the display is the ceramic shield on the iPhone 13. It's a special hardening process which is supposed to make the glass stronger. That remains to be tested on my part, but it would certainly be welcome. I have some pretty deep scratches on my iPhone XR display display. And I don't know if they're putting the ceramic shield on the back, but I could have used that before I busted the back of my 10R. Although I don't know if any phone is truly safe from the pavement on which I dropped this phone. Arguably, one of the biggest differences between these phones is the speed of the processor and therefore your day-to-day usage. The iPhone XR has the A12 Bionic and the iPhone 13 has the A15 Bionic. When you look at Geekbench scores, the iPhone 13 cleans up. On a single core, the 13 gets a score of 1727 versus 1111 for the XR. And on multi-core, the 13 gets a score of 4704 versus 2908 on the XR. So essentially, in benchmarks, the iPhone 13 is about 60% faster. For me, I want to see how that translates in real life. So let's do an app launch test. Launching and loading apps from scratch is one of the best tests that you can do because it's something we all need to do so often. I picked about 6 apps at random here, and of course the iPhone 13 was faster, but to varying degrees. Twitter, for example, was about a 1 second difference. Sportsnet was 1.5 seconds. Music was just a second or maybe less. News was about 3 seconds, which was a long time. And Alto's Odyssey, The Lost City, was actually about a 5 second difference, which is huge. And the App Store was 1.5 seconds difference. Now, I said this in my Pixel 6 review as well when I did an app launch test. This is one of the biggest reasons to upgrade because it's such a regular part of our day-to-day usage. Interacting with information and data doesn't feel a lot faster, but loading that data up initially is where you will notice a huge difference. Let's talk about the cameras. The iPhone 13 and the XR both have a 12 megapixel wide angle camera lens. That's the main camera you're going to be using most of the time. The 13's aperture is f1.6 while the XR is f1.8. So the 13 technically lets in more light, which is better for low light scenarios. In fact, Apple says the wide camera sensor captures 47% more light than the previous generation. There's also a couple of advanced computational photography features that you can't get on the XR. Deep Fusion and Night Mode. Deep Fusion automatically adds sharpness to your photos, and Night Mode adds detail and brightness to low light photos. Plus, the iPhone 13 has an ultra wide lens, which provides a 120-degree field of view and is labeled with a 0.5 zoom button in the camera app. Essentially, it's like zooming out instead of in to get more of your surroundings in the picture. I went out and snapped a couple of photos to get a feel for the new camera and how it compared to my old iPhone. I went down to Walterdale Bridge, which connects the southern part of Edmonton to downtown. We had just gotten freezing rain the night before, so this proved to be a very treacherous journey. The iPhone XR certainly holds its own, but you can see the iPhone 13 is a bit warmer overall and less blue than the XR. Here's the high-level bridge as well, which is aptly named for its height. Generally, you'll find that photos taken on the iPhone 13 are just better in terms of their sharpness, contrast, lighting, and so on because Apple continues to improve their camera tech every year. This isn't a camera test by any means. I could do a whole video diving deep on the iPhone 13 camera system, but that's already been done. Now, another notable difference between these two phones is the cellular radio. The XR has LTE while the iPhone 13 has 5G. And I would love to test this out for you, but here's the kicker. I'm on Shaw Mobile because I'm cheap. And yeah, they don't have 5G. I'm sure that whenever I do get 5G, it's going to be great. The thing I've noticed about 5G is that it's not life-changing in its current state. A lot of times people are getting the same speeds as LTE, but there's rare instances where it's truly mind-blowing. And as it continues to roll out, I suspect it'll get better and better. But in my opinion, while 5G has been around for a couple of years now, it's still not a reason to upgrade your phone. There's a few other important things to mention about the iPhone 13. For one thing, the battery is supposed to last about 3 hours hours longer. Now, most of us who still have an iPhone XR probably have some level of battery degradation, so it's not really as good as it used to be anyways. But in top condition, the XR is supposed to get up to 16 hours of video playback, and the iPhone 13 should get up to 19 hours. Now, I don't believe these stats for a second. There's no chance you can watch 7 movies on your iPhone before it dies. Maybe in perfect conditions, like the video is already downloaded, the phone is in airplane mode, the brightness is super low, and so is the volume. Basically, a horrible experience. However, I'm sure it can be done. Realistically, I've never had an issue with the battery on my iPhone XR. Sure, sometimes you're out and you realize you're in the danger zone, but this is pretty rare. I especially don't have a problem these days because I work from home, so my phone usage is down. Plus, I'm always on Wi-Fi, which is a bit more battery friendly. In case you're interested in putting your iPhone through some tough situations, it's good to note that the iPhone 13 is IP68 rated instead of IP67 like the iPhone XR. Basically, IP68 means that the phone should be fine underwater up to a depth of 6 meters for up to 30 minutes. IP67 has a depth of 1 meter for 30 minutes. Listen, I'm not going swimming with my iPhone anytime soon, but it's good to know it should be okay if I accidentally drop it in the bathtub or a lake or something like that. Though if I drop it in a lake, that might still be a problem. The iPhone 13 is actually lighter than the iPhone XR as well. The XR weighs 194 grams, while the iPhone 13 is just 173 grams. Not a huge difference, but it's still noticeable. It's bottom line time. Is the 3-year upgrade cycle the way to go? I think so. There's not enough of a leap from generation to generation to make the upgrade every year. And honestly, Apple is making phones that are really good. I think the iPhone XR has performed incredibly well over the years. It still runs the latest software, still takes great photos, and it's still pretty fast. That said, the iPhone 13 is noticeably better in every area, and I think that's what you want when you upgrade. So yeah, I'm still an iPhone guy, and I'm looking forward to daily driving my iPhone 13. If you found this video interesting, click that like button, which helps more people find this content. I really appreciate the support. And if you want more tech reviews, impressions, and news, click the subscribe button to catch all of my videos as they come out. Thanks so much, and we'll see you in the next one.